Good morning, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jenn B, and you're tuned into the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Today, we are going to talk about what in the world is going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. From 16 wins straight to 4 straight losses. Eek. Then we'll talk about how the Charge have been doing over this past week. We will talk some NCAA college basketball tournament. Then we will get into the hockey with the Blue Jackets, the Monsters, and the Ohio State Buckeyes, as both the women's and the men's team compete for championships this past week. We will then get into the baseball with the Guardians, and what in the world are they doing? I don't know. You probably don't know either. Guess we'll find out soon, because opening day is upon us. Then we will get into some volleyball with the Columbus Fury, some football with the Browns and the Bowling Green Falcons. Then we will wrap things up with some soccer with the Crew and the Crunch. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I will get into all of that after these messages from our sponsor.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out our wonderful sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. It is some of the best beef jerky out there. Go to planetjerky.net to place your orders today. Free shipping on orders over $50 or more. Vital Apparel proudly promotes and donates to mental health research. You can go to their website and place your orders using code IESR for 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear. Seal the Deal Wax Seals, the perfect finish to your letters, invitations, and gifts. Head on over to iesportsradio.com/seal the deal wax seals to place your orders for that. And of course, we wouldn't be here without IE Sports Radio. So be sure to follow us on all of the socials and hit those like and subscribe buttons here on YouTube. You can check out the website for more information on all of our shows, some bios on the hosts, our Hall of Fame, our shop, and so much more. And you can catch all of our podcasts on the audio playback on anywhere you get your podcasts. And our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. Go to getrawnutrition.com. Use code IESR to get 10% off your order. And you can follow me on X at Show of the Land IE. And I just recently reactivated my personal X account. So you can get me on X, IG, Threads, and Blue Sky at BelieveLand Girl, and on TikTok at Jen.BelieveLand. Shout out to the chat room before we get started. We have Andre Fernandez, the host of our NorCal show. It is the NorCal Sports Report. Be sure to check him out on Wednesdays. And we have Taryn Rodriguez, host of Set Point, our volleyball show, and the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. Set Point is on Mondays and SoCal is on Fridays. And we have Brian, aka BMA Dog. He is the host of the Beantown Sports Pound, and you can catch him also on Wednesdays. Now, let's get into the sports of it all. The Cavs. I'm so used to having good news to talk about with the Cavs, but not such good things have been happening over the past week. They entered the week on a franchise record 16 game win streak, but have not won since. So, what's going on with this team? So, Sunday they played the Orlando Magic and lost 108 to 103. Evan Mobley was out with a toe contusion. Donovan Mitchell led with 23 points. Jarrett Allen had a double-double with 20 points and 12 rebounds. But still, the Cavs fell short. They started slow and dug themselves into quite the hole, and they could not get out of it. Tuesday, they played the LA Clippers and lost 132 to 119. Max Strus led with 24 points, and Donovan Mitchell had a double-double with 18 points and 11 assists. Wednesday, they played the Sacramento Kings and lost 123 to 119. Darius Garland was out for rest, and Evan Mobley led with 31 points. And that is it. That's the only stat I have for that game. Evan Mobley led with 31 points. No double doubles, no Donovan Mitchell doing anything. Like, herein lies the problem. Friday, the Cavs played the Phoenix Suns and lost 123 to 112. Jalen Tyson was out with a knee injury. No big deal there because he really doesn't play much. But Darius Garland surpassed 7,000 career points. Evan Mobley had his 400th career block. And Darius Garland led with 18 points. Evan Mobley had a double-double with 16 points and 12 rebounds. So, what is going on with this team? The Celtics are on a streak. Of course they are, because the Cavs are on a losing streak. But the Cavs are still up by 5.5 games, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They do not, however, still have the best record in the NBA. That belongs to Oklahoma City. So Donovan Mitchell has taken 100% responsibility for this slump that the Cavs are in and has come out and said he just needs to be better. And I can't say that he's wrong, because in this game against the Phoenix Suns, he had 4 points. 4. Donovan Mitchell, 4 points. His best game was in this losing streak was the 23 points against the Orlando Magic. It has not been good. The shots aren't falling. They're just off. Hopefully they figure it out. Next up for the Cavs this afternoon, they take on the Utah Jazz, who are one of the worst teams in the NBA this season. So hopefully they can pull out a win and turn things around a little bit. As of right now, the last I saw, everybody will be playing except possibly Jalen Tyson. He is questionable, and the two-way players who are on assignment with the Charge. But everybody else should be good to go unless there's been some change in the last hour or so. Tuesday, they will play the Portland Trail Blazers. Thursday, they finally come back home and they will play the San Antonio Spurs. Friday, the Detroit Pistons. So before Friday, they really need to figure out what the heck is going on, because they can't lose to Detroit. They just can't, because I said so. No other reason than that. I just said so. So, because we can't lose to JB Bickerstaff. It just can't. It's just not right. So let's talk about the Charge. Maybe things are a little better here in Cleveland with the Charge. Maybe. Just a little bit, I guess. Sunday, they played the Motor City Cruise and they lost 135 to 121. Jules Bernard has made his return and he led with 26 points. Naquan Tomlin surpassed 300 career rebounds and all 300 this season. Not too bad. Not too bad, Naquan. Last night, the Charge played the Osceola Magic, and they won. Look at that, a win. Finally, a win in basketball. Just took us to get to the Charge to find it. They won 97 to 91. Jules Bernard once again led with 29 points. Luke Travers and Farron Hunt both recorded double-doubles. Luke Travers had 17 points and 10 rebounds, and Farron Hunt had 14 points and 12 rebounds. Next up for the Charge this afternoon, they will be taking on the College Park Skyhawks. And then Friday and Saturday, they will be playing the Long Island Nets. Now for some college basketball. Let's talk about those Akron Zips. So I didn't have my show last week due to some family health situation. All is good now, but things were a little questionable last weekend. So Akron won the MAC tournament to be the MAC champions, thus securing their spot in the NCAA tournament as a 13 seed. And Friday, they played Arizona, 4 seed, and lost 93 to 65, thus ending their Cinderella season. More losing basketball, isn't that fun? But let's go to some winning basketball. There was some winning basketball in the college ranks. Not on the men's. Well, actually, there was some on the men's side too, but not in the March Madness tournament. But for the women's, our only team to make the women's bracket was Ohio State, and they played Montana State on Friday, winning 71 to 51. Ohio State is a 4 seed. Montana State was a 13 seed. And tonight, the Lady Buckeyes will take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee is a 5 seed, and they will play at 8 p.m. tonight on ESPN to move on to the Sweet 16. So good luck to the Lady Buckeyes. Taylor Thierry was also named Burger King Player of the Week for the Lady Buckeyes. One last team in an NCAA tournament, Kent State accepted an invitation to the NIT tournament, and on Tuesday they played St. Bonaventura, winning 75 to 56. Tonight they will take on Dre's Stanford team at 9 p.m. on ESPN2. So good luck to the Golden Flashes as they take on Stanford tonight, and good luck to the Lady Buckeyes as they take on Tennessee also tonight. That is going to wrap up the basketball portion of the show. I am going to take a short break, and when I come back, we will get into some hockey and some baseball. We have some professional hockey, we have some semi-professional hockey, and we have some college hockey to talk about, and then we will talk a little bit about the Guardians and what the heck are they doing, because they're pissing me off. But we will get into all of that here after these messages from a couple of our other shows. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What the fever on the head?
Hey, yo, what's good, Georgia? It's your boy ACS, and if you love sports from the Peach State as much as I do, then Georgia Sports Central is your one-stop destination for down south sports, courtesy of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you a yellow jacket at heart, or do you bleed the red and black of the Bulldogs? Do you keep it true to Atlanta with Trae Young, Capella, and the boys? Do you rise up with the Dirty Birds on Sundays? Are you excited to see what the future holds for Michael Penix Jr., Bijan, and the rest of the Falcon squad? Do you live at 755 Battery Avenue? Do you rep for Albies, Acuna, and the rest of Braves country? If so, then let's get united every Wednesday for some Braves, Hawks, UGA, Georgia Tech, Atlanta Dream, Falcons, and more on Georgia Sports Central, only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out Gritsville, USA with Christian Harvey for your Michigan, or Zichigan as I like to call them, sports needs. And check out Georgia Sports Central with ACS for your Georgia sports needs. Shout out to Ralph Calise in the chat. He is the host of the Yinzer Report for your Pittsburgh sports needs. You can catch him on Friday nights generally. This week he went on Saturday afternoon, but usually he's on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk about some more losing. So the Blue Jackets were very nicely set in the wild card 1 spot. And then they decided to start losing. And they haven't figured out how to win again. And they are no longer nicely set in the wild card 1 spot. They are not in the playoff rankings at all at the moment. They are not eliminated, but they are not there. Monday, they played the New Jersey Devils, which was a very important game as the two teams were tied, and they lost 2-1. Matthew Olivier scored the lone goal. The Blue Jackets did sign goaltender Evan Gardner to a 3-year entry-level contract that will begin for the 2025-2026 season. So congratulations to Evan Gardner. Thursday, the Blue Jackets played the Florida Panthers, and this was not a terrible game because the Florida Panthers are one of the best teams in the NHL right now. But they did lose in overtime, 1-0. But it was 1-0 in overtime. So they held the Panthers scoreless for all of regulation. Unfortunately, they could not score themselves either. So here we are, another loss. But at least they got the 1 point. I guess we'll go with that. Oh, the Bruins are way worse right now, losing to the worst NHL team last night. Uh, it's annoying, isn't it, Brian? It's so frustrating. This team was doing so well and then they just fell apart. Following Thursday's game, the Blue Jackets recalled Jet Greaves from the Cleveland Monsters on an emergency recall because Daniil Tarasov was ill and did not travel to Pittsburgh with the team, leading to Elvis Merzlikins playing in 2 games back to back, which is never a good thing. And thus, the Blue Jackets fell to the Pittsburgh Penguins 6-3. But in good news, Boone Jenner scored his first goal of the season after returning from a shoulder injury that kept him out for a good portion of the first half of the season. Justin Danforth and Kent Johnson also recorded goals. Following the game, Jet Greaves was reassigned to the Cleveland Monsters. And the Blue Jackets will be back in action tomorrow against the New York Islanders, Friday against the Vancouver Canucks, and Saturday against the Ottawa Senators. Hopefully, they can figure things out and get back to winning. They are playing fairly well for the most part. They just can't seem to get those shots to go. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, they figure that out. Now for the Cleveland Monsters. They only had 2 games this week and it was a back-to-back. They played the Laval Rocket Friday and Saturday. Friday they won 3-2 in overtime. Luka Delbel Beluz and Roman Akan scored the regular time goals and Trafix Wolanski had the overtime winner. Sadly, though, last night the Monsters lost 6-0 to the Laval Rocket. Yikes. But they were playing with their backup goalie because Jet was not back with the team yet, and Sawchenko played on Friday. So they went with Pavel Kajan, who they recalled from the Cincinnati Cyclones, to fill in for Jet while he was with Columbus. So, it is what it is. Next, for the Monsters, Sunday and Wednesday, they will be playing, well, that's today. Today and Wednesday, they will be playing the Belleville Senators. And then Friday and Saturday, the Texas Stars. But, the Monsters are well within the playoff seeding, so I think they'll be okay. But, it's annoying when you have to send your best players up to the Blue Jackets just for them to sit on the bench and then the Blue Jackets lose. Anyway. Now for some NCAA hockey. We do have some fun hockey here. On Friday, the Ohio State women's team took on Cornell in the women's Frozen Four semifinals, winning 4-2. McKenna Webster and Brooke Disher both recorded goals in period 1, and then Joy Dunn finished things off with 2 goals in period 3. The Lady Buckeyes will be playing this afternoon at 4 p.m. against Wisconsin for the NCAA Women's Hockey Championship. Where have we seen this before? Oh, that's right. Last year and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the year before. But this time, Ohio State is ranked number 2 and Wisconsin is ranked number 1. Last season, Ohio State was 1 and Wisconsin was 2. So let's see how this one turns out. But I'm rooting for those Lady Buckeyes. Full show. On the men's side of things, the Ohio State Buckeyes were in the Big Ten tournament championship against Michigan State last night. And holy cannolis, was that a game! Sadly, Ohio State fell short, losing 4-3 in the second overtime. That's right. This game went to 2 overtimes. So Ohio State was losing 2-1. Then Michigan State scored again, so they were losing 3-1. The Buckeyes scored 2 goals in a very short period of time in the third period to tie things up. The game remained tied. There was about, I want to say, about 5 minutes left in the period when the Buckeyes tied it up. Remained tied. Rest of the game, obviously, because it went to overtime. Remained tied through an entire overtime and almost an entire second overtime. There was about 4 minutes left in the second overtime when Michigan State finally scored that winning goal. But shout out to Ohio State goaltender Turnus, who had 47 saves in this game. Ohio State played their hearts out in this one. They were the 3 seed. Michigan State was the 1 seed. And they battled. Boy, did they battle. It was very nice to see the men's team competing again, because the last couple of years they haven't been that great, while the women's team has taken the country by storm. But the men's Frozen Four selection is tonight. We'll see if Ohio State makes it. Michigan State most definitely will, but we'll see if Ohio State makes it. And we'll go from there. Also, Ohio State men's head coach Steve Rolick was named the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Much deservedly, right there, if I do say so myself. And I do. I do. Because, boy, did that team play hard last night. I was very impressed with them. Boy, that's a big change in Reds right there. So that's Ohio State red to Guardians red right there. Big change, big change, big change. So the Guardians finishing out spring training. This week they played last Sunday. They played the Milwaukee Brewers, losing 8-2. Starting lineup: shortstop Daniel Schneemann, center field Tyler Freeman, and we'll get to more news on him here shortly. And I just don't know what the heck this team is doing, but we'll get to that. Anyway, first base Kyle Manzardo, right field John Kenzie Noel, left field Will Brennan, DH Bo Naylor, third base Angel Martinez, second base Juan Brito, catcher Cody Huff, starting pitcher Ben Lively. Monday, they played the Cincinnati Reds, winning 3-0. Starting lineup: left field Stephen Kwan, third base Jose Ramirez, center field Lane Thomas, first base Carlos Santana, catcher Bo Naylor, second base Gabriel Arias, right field Will Brennan, DH Austin Hedges, shortstop Brian Rocchio, starting pitcher Tanner Bybee. And I will say that based on what I know now, which we haven't discussed yet because I haven't gotten to that part of my notes, this lineup right here is probably the closest to an opening day lineup we have seen. And with the exception of Austin Hedges being the DH, it will most likely be either Carlos Santana or Kyle Manzardo at DH and then the other one at first base. But let me say it again. Left field, Stephen Kwan. Center field, Lane Thomas. Right field, Will Brennan. First base, Carlos Santana or Kyle Manzardo. Second base, Gabriel Arias. Shortstop, Brian Rocchio. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Catcher, Bo Naylor. That is my projection for the opening day lineup with starting pitcher Tanner Bybee, but we haven't gotten there yet either. Tuesday, the Guardians played the Texas Rangers, losing 7-3. Starting lineup: shortstop Daniel Schneemann, center field Tyler Freeman, first base Kyle Manzardo, right field John Kenzie Noel, catcher Austin Hedges, second base Juan Brito, left field Angel Martinez, DH Adam Nunez, third base Will Wilson, starting pitcher Luis Ortiz. Slade Ciccone has a mild left oblique strain and will not be available to open the season. And Tanner Bybee was announced as the opening day starter. Wednesday, the Guardians took on the Sacramento A's, losing 8-3. Starting lineup: left field Stephen Kwan, third base Jose Ramirez, center field Elaine Thomas, first base Carlos Santana, catcher Bo Naylor, shortstop Daniel Schneemann, right field Will Brennan, second base Juan Brito, DH Jonathan Rodriguez, starting pitcher Gavin Williams. And as you will see, once again, that starting lineup, very, very similar to what I said. Seems they are getting it more in line with how things will be to start the season. Wednesday, they also played the Los Angeles Angels in a split squad situation. They lost this one 6-3. Shortstop Brian Rocchio, center field Tyler Freeman, DH Kyle Manzardo, right field John Kenzie Noel, second base Gabriel Arias, catcher Austin Hedges, left field Angel Martinez, third base Will Wilson, first base Micah Priest, starting pitcher Logan Allen. Following the games, the Guardians optioned outfielder Jonathan Rodriguez, infielder Juan Brito, and infield/outfielder Angel Martinez to AAA Columbus. They also reassigned right-handed pitchers Luis Frias, Bradley Hanner, and Zach Kent to minor league camp, as well as first base/outfielder Micah Priest. So that right there would be why I do not any longer have Juan Brito as the opening day second baseman, because he has already been optioned to Columbus. Friday, the Guardians took on the San Francisco Giants, losing 5-4. Starting lineup: center field Daniel Schneemann, second base Tyler Freeman, first base Kyle Manzardo, right field John Kenzie Noel, left field Will Brennan, third base Gabriel Arias, DH Bo Naylor, catcher Austin Hedges, shortstop Brian Rocchio, starting pitcher Ben Lively. And then yesterday, the Guardians played the San Diego Padres, winning 12-8 in a high-scoring affair. Starting lineup: left field Stephen Kwan, third base Jose Ramirez, center field Lane Thomas, first base Carlos Santana, right field John Kenzie Noel, second base Tyler Freeman, catcher Bo Naylor, shortstop Brian Rocchio, DH Adam Nunez, starting pitcher Tanner Bybee. The Guardians also yesterday extended Tanner Bybee through the 2029 season with a club option for 2030. So congratulations to Tanner Bybee on his 5-year extension. And then the Guardians traded Tyler Freeman to the Colorado Rockies for outfielder Nolan Jones. That's right. They optioned Juan Brito to Columbus, and then they traded Tyler Freeman. So, who the heck is playing second base, y'all? Who? Sounds like it's going to be Gabriel Arias, and I for one, am not thrilled with this option. Though he has been batting better, he's not the greatest middle infielder. Someone in our podcast chat group suggested that perhaps they might put Gabriel Arias at third base and move Jose Ramirez to second, as Jose Ramirez has in a past life played second base. However, the Guardians have not once played Jose Ramirez at second base during spring camp. So unless that changes in these last three spring training games, I don't see that happening, but we'll see. It has been announced that Jose Ramirez will be batting in the 2 spot behind Steven Kwan. But beyond that, I don't see him moving off of third base. This is like the Bergman and Devers situation in Boston for third base. I'm so aggravated right now with these Guardians. They trade away the best second baseman in the freaking world in the offseason. Then they option Juan Brito to Columbus, and then they trade Tyler Freeman. I don't understand what we're doing here. I just don't get it. But next up for this Guardians team, this afternoon they will be playing once again the Cincinnati Reds, and then Monday and Tuesday they will wrap up a spring training games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Their season opener will be on Thursday, the 27th in Kansas City against the Royals, and then they will again play the Royals on Saturday. And like I said, Tanner Bybee will be the opening day pitcher. I have not seen any official reports of the rest of the starting rotation, but my best guess would be Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, Luis Ortiz, Ben Lively, and then we'll see who the last one is. Possibly Logan Allen, possibly Tristan McKenzie. It won't be Slade Ciccone, that's for sure, and it won't be Shane Bieber. So I know who it won't be, but I don't know who it will be. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we'll know more for next week's show. Well, actually we should. Well, there's 2 games, so yeah, the starter should be named for the upcoming game, so we should know next week. But yeah, so that's where things are with these freaking Guardians. I don't know who's playing second base, and it's making me angry. I don't like it. When they traded Andres Jimenez, I was like, there's got to be a plan here. There's got to be a plan. And here we are. I don't think there's a plan. I don't like it. But that's going to wrap things up for the hockey and the baseball. I am going to take a short break. And when I come back, we will talk some volleyball, football, and football, aka soccer. So stay right here with me, Jenn B, on the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'll be right back after this.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your 5-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you with the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Welcome back to the show of the land with Jenn B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be sure to check out our other shows, The Neutral Zone with Adam and Zach. You can catch them on Tuesdays, and New York State of Sports with Ricky K. I know he said Thursday, but you can catch him on Mondays now. For your New York sports needs, let's talk some volleyball. Tori Stringer and her husband Ethan are expecting their first child, which is fantastic, except it also means that Tori Stringer is done for the season. And Thursday, the Columbus Fury took on Indy Ignite and lost 2-3. They lost sets 1 and 2, 21-25 and 16-25. Then they won sets 3 and 4, 28-26 and 26-24, and fell short in set 5, losing 13-15. But they also signed setter Nutsara Tomcom, who played for the San Diego Mojo last season. She is obviously the replacement for Tori Stringer. Best wishes to Tori and her husband Ethan as they prepare to welcome their first child, of course. But I'm sad that I won't get to see her on the court for a while. Next up, for the Columbus Fury, maybe they can get another win. Maybe this afternoon they will take on the Atlanta Vibe, and for some reason they always play well against the Vibe, even though the Vibe are one of the better teams in the league. They always play well against them, so maybe, just maybe, they can get a win. And then Friday, Grand Rapids Rise. Now, got some football to talk about. Let's talk about the Browns. And really, what the H are they doing? So they traded DTR and a 2025 fifth round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for Kenny Pickett. Yes, I did not misspeak. Kenny freaking Pickett. So as it stands right at this very moment in time, well, at least the moment in time before I started the show, because it is possible they did something in the last 50 minutes or so, but Kenny Pickett is the entire Browns quarterback room. That's it. Kenny Pickett. Yeah. So the Browns also re-signed linebacker Devin Bush. They signed defensive tackle Malik Collins, offensive tackle Cornelius Lucas, defensive end Joe Tryon Shoyinka, wide receiver DeAndre Carter, who is also a return specialist, but is also 31 years old. And they signed guard Tevin Jenkins and re-signed cornerback Tony Bryan. And then just this past weekend, they signed linebacker Jerome Baker, who is formerly of the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, hello to, to Travis or T5, the host of the Crescent City Connection. You can catch him on Saturdays at noon Eastern time. Or no, I'm sorry, 1 Eastern, noon Central. He says F Arizona as a whole and throw Seattle in there as well. I was talking to him yesterday when I was helping him with his show about how I hate the whole state of Arizona, because on Friday, Akron lost to Arizona. The Guardians lost in Arizona. And then the Cavs also lost in Arizona to the Phoenix Suns. So I was just like, I was hating on the entire state, the whole state. Oh, but yeah, so I have no idea what the Browns are doing here at quarterback or anything else for that matter. It looks like they pretty much solidified the holes in the defense in free agency. So I am projecting they're going to go very heavy offense in the draft. But yeah, Kenny Pickett is it in the quarterback room. That's it. Yo, that's it. And Jameis Winston signed with the Giants, so he's off the table. They met with Russell Wilson, because that's what we need. We need the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room of the last 2 years, because that's where it's headed at the moment. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so they met with Russell Wilson. Joe Flacco, from what I'm hearing, is still on the table as a possible addition as well. Russell Wilson is waiting to make his decision until Aaron Rodgers makes his decision. So that's where we are. But I will be having a special guest here in 2 weeks, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, April 6th. Barry Shuck of Dogs by Nature. He will be joining me to talk free agency and draft. Cam Ward or bust, ? Well, from what I'm hearing, the Browns are actually more interested in Shador Sanders. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But I will be having Barry Shuck on the show on April 6th to talk some free agency and NFL draft. He did attend the Senior Bowl and I believe the Shrine Bowl. So I'm very interested to get his input on where he thinks the Browns are headed with regards to specifically a quarterback. Because what the heck did they tell Myles Garrett that got him to change his mind and sign that extension, and him come out and say, I know where we're going, and hint that he knows what they're doing at quarterback, when our freaking quarterback room right now is Kenny freaking Pickett? Like, what is happening? Well, let's move on to some better news. Bowling Green State University hired a new head coach, former Ohio State and NFL running back Eddie George. Bowling Green looking to be relevant again. So definitely be keeping an eye on them this upcoming college season. Excited to have Eddie George back in Ohio. So exciting things happening up in the northwestern quadrant of this state, while things are a little murky in this northeastern quadrant of the state. We don't know who's playing second base for the Guardians, and the Browns quarterback is currently Kenny Pickett. And the Cavs are on a 4-game losing streak. So it's no fun up here over here. They told Myles Garrett the check clears on Monday. Maybe. Maybe that's all it took. I don't know. Let's move on to some soccer. Not much better news there either. So I mean, we may as well. The Crew played last night against NYCFC, and it was a 0-0 draw. There you go, Angela. I said nil. We were talking about this in the chat the other day about how in soccer it's not 0, it's nil. So here we are, 0-0 draw. But on the bright side, the Crew still have not lost in MLS play. So there's that. They've had a couple of draws, but they have not lost. Next up for the Crew, Saturday they will take on DC United. And last but not least, before we close out the show, let's talk about Larry's favorite candy, the Cleveland Crunch. The Cleveland Crunch have clinched a playoff berth in MLS. They were off this week, but they will play again next week, taking on the Chicago Mustangs next Saturday. They only have 2 games left in the regular season, and then the playoffs will begin here in Cleveland. Woohoo! Fantastic. And maybe the Crunch can win championship number 2 in a row. That would be great, because as it's looking right now, we don't got much to celebrate around here. So let's get on that Crunch bandwagon. That is going to do it for today's show. Thank you one and all for joining me, Jenn B, on the show of the land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Today, be sure to root on those Cleveland Cavaliers as they take on the Utah Jazz. We also have the Charge, I believe. The Charge are playing tonight against the College Park Seahawks. We have Ohio State women's basketball also playing tonight against Tennessee. Penn State men's basketball against Stanford. So be sure to check out all of those games. And we also have the Ohio State women's hockey taking on Wisconsin this afternoon for the women's hockey championship. So go Lady Buckeyes in hockey and basketball. Go Cavs, go Charge, go Kent State. Check out the NASCAR race as well. And you can catch me tomorrow on the Extra Mile with Daryl, Chris, and Michael for more on your motorsports needs. I will be back with you for Cleveland and Columbus sports next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a fantastic week. Go Cavs, go Buckeyes.
What?